Going on YouTube. I'm going to start this video in a gym, which is probably how I've started many of my YouTube videos. But this can be a little bit different. Number one, it's a different gym, so that's one. But we're actually not going to do anything to do with fitness, bodybuilding, health, well-being. We're not going to do any of that shit today. Today, I'm going to dive into the cost of living in Dubai, London, and the Gold Coast / Brisbane. I've lived in Dubai now this is my 6th year. I lived in London for 4 years, and I've been back and forth to the Gold Coast twice a year for the last 3 years. So it's safe to say I know a little bit about the cost of living. I know people that live in all these destinations, etc, etc, right? So in this video, I'm gonna break everything down, but I'm gonna mostly compare it off what what it costs for me to live, and I'm gonna base the two locations, so London, Brisbane, and Gold Coast, based off what my business expenses are, my cost of living, all that sort of stuff, food, etc, etc, in Dubai. So let's dive into it. And before I take you to my laptop where I asked ChatGPT to help me out with this, so a lot of this kind of data is going to come from ChatGPT, it's going to come from the internet, and I'm putting in my thoughts, my personality. It's my fucking YouTube, right? So I was born and raised in the southeast of England, in that London area, so I truly know what it's like, and I've seen it evolve over the years that I've been away. And my fiance is born and raised in the Gold Coast, Australia, the Brisbane area. So I'm coming at it with pure experience from living in 3 parts of this country and getting a lot of it from Steph as well. From the Australia side, I will touch, all my family live in Perth, Western Australia as well. So I do have a good concept of Australia. But I want to be very clear before I before I dive into the maths and the figures of everything, is that this is my life, this is my expenses of a way of life that I love. It's not fucking glamorous, it's not wow lifestyle, but it's the lifestyle that I love. And obviously the more that I earn, lifestyle will increase, like anything in life. Like if you earn more, you'll just do some fancier shit with it, right? Vice versa, if you're going through some hard times, you'll have to be tighter on certain areas. That being said, Dubai is my home. Dubai is my home. That is where I feel like I've truly become who I am. Moving away from the UK, moving abroad at like 25 years old. So yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it, and you're gonna see that. But also I want to look at this very unemotional, very facts, figures, the way of life that it is as well, from maybe a little bit political standpoint as well. I'll get Steph's intakes on it as well. I'll try and keep this video formal and making sense and flowing. So that being said, let's dive into the figures, let's dive into the maths, let's ask ChatGPT. Alright guys, let's dive into this. This might be a little bit, I want to try and cover it and give you as much context as possible, because finances are always a funny thing, especially when people talk about moving abroad, the cost of things, and I want to give you the full breakdown of someone that has been screwed over by moving abroad, and from a lot of fucking expensive mistakes that I've learned, and this is where we're at today. So, I used ChatGPT to help me out do some conversions and stuff like that. So this is the document that ChatGPT's converted from the information that I've given it from my Excel spreadsheet of my rent, my expenses, all this sort of stuff, right? And Steph has been very good at helping me with this sort of stuff as well. Just be more organized with this sort of stuff, because it's definitely an area that I've not been great in the past. So, a couple of things to take into consideration. You always have to remember, Dubai, yes, they do have tax, but no one technically pays it, right? Because our businesses are based in different emirates. Dubai is obviously an emirate itself, and then the United Emirates, there's different emirates, right? So our business actually technically isn't in Dubai, it's in a different emirate. We still have to pay for accountants, so that is obviously something to consider as well.
they're not that expensive, but we have to pay for accountants every quarter. And Dubai is living in the UAE is a bit like that. Everything's paid up front. So that's sometimes the expensive part. Like in Australia, in the UK, I think in Australia it's like they do it all weekly and bi-weekly here. And then in the UK, it's all monthly, right? So in the UK, if you want to move into a new place, you give 6 weeks deposit, 6 weeks upfront, so like deposit, and then your month's rent. I guess kind of the UAE is very similar to that. So our rent is every 3 months, so we pay 3 months upfront. The nice thing about this place, or the UAE and Dubai, is that you can negotiate this. Like if you wanted to pay for a year up front, which we know a lot of friends do, they can sometimes make a bit of a deal and pull the price down a bit. So you can negotiate with your rent, which is quite nice. So that is pretty much this baseline here. So this is that rent. So this works out at, so I pay, and then obviously Steph has her half as well. So this will be 800 roughly and £35 per month, so 2,500 for the 3 months. The way that I look at this rent is what you actually get for it, right? We have a really nice kind of 1.5 bed, technically 2, a 2-bed place for this. You have a pool, you have a gym, the location's phenomenal, it's very modern, it's very clean, we have concierge, we have like face recognition in the lift, all this sort of stuff, right? Which is obviously just those extra things that make it really fucking nice. So that is our rent breakdown. DEWA is pretty much a nice way of saying bills. So this is our Dubai Electrical Water Association. I don't know, something like that. So DEWA obviously is going to increase in the summer when the aircon is being used more. In the winter months, it's not being used as much, so the rent's going to be the bill's going to be slightly cheaper. This is with internet as well. The internet in Dubai is kind of expensive, so the internet is, give or take, £100 of that. I don't know why it's expensive, it just kind of is for internet. I think it's similar to Australia. Maybe I'll get Steph to confirm that. But yeah, so that's roughly 300 every month. This is my business expenses, so this is everything from even my phone, this is automation services, this is emails, this is just random subscriptions and stuff like that I have with the business. So my business is quite cost effective, it's quite low. The one thing that I haven't added on to this, no, it's cool, I have, that's fine. It's just a different section. I have my own physique coach, which is obviously $250 a month. We have a cleaner every week, which actually works out at £90 for the whole month. So they come once a week. Current staff that I have is $360 per month. That will increase in the next week, give or take. So the actual kind of cost of that is coming to £2,661. You can do the conversions using all the famous AI stuff. If you want to do it to US dollar or Australian dollar or wherever you are in the world, go for it. I haven't actually worked this out because I personally don't really put a price on food because food is kind of our job. We always look for deals. We're not fucking stupid with it, but we always are just very smart with this. So this is what kind of AI gave us a rough breakdown, right? And I'll kind of speak about this in our personal experience as well. So food, I would say we're probably up at kind of I would say £400 to £500 per month. We get meat from a butcher, and then the food we actually get pretty cheap because we eat the same fucking foods every day, right? And this is going to vary dramatically sort of thing for like the individual sort of thing, but give or take. Coffees, eating out, yeah, that's probably about right on a weekly average. The fuel, do you want to answer this for me now?
Yes.
What do you...
95.
$95.
We put in unleaded 95. No, it's double the price here.
You put in $11.95.
Unleaded 95.
Oh, she's actually telling me the fuel source. Sorry, guys. We use unleaded 95, and it's roughly like what, 230 dirhams.
Yeah, but if you're going to work it out per litre, it's 95 cents Australian.
Okay, so we roughly paid 230 dirhams to fill up her car. She's got a nice big 4x4 car, and that lasts us 3 weeks.
Yeah, if you break it down to per litre, it's 95
I'm going to get there. It's a nice long YouTube video. we got time. So yeah, that's giving you context on the car, and then per litre it is 95 cents Australian. So fuel is very cheap. That's gonna be maybe 50 pence. So 50 pence per litre, British pound. So yeah, that's kind of give you a context on the actual kind of price of fuel. Yeah, that's it in a nutshell. I can't think of anything else. The only thing that I didn't add into this is, I didn't add into this section here. Oh, I did. It's fine. I actually did. It's all good. It slipped my mind. Roughly, I'm going to say our monthly expenses to live, or for me to live, and then vice versa, run the business, etc. All in is coming at, let's say, that 3.3 to 4,000. Let's give that per month. And that is not living like a fucking Dubai life, right? We live a really nice life. We have put ourselves in this position, and I'm super fucking proud, right? But it's nothing crazy because we don't do shit. Like, I fucking love just this bodybuilding life. Like, we literally do the same shit all the time. We go to the same coffee shops. We're very vanilla, so we don't do much. We eat out once a week in the off seasons, and most of the time now that is just pizza delivery, so it's nothing too crazy, guys. We live a very vanilla kind of lifestyle on that side of things. All I did with this is convert it into kind of London and Gold Coast and Brisbane area. So I actually lived in Collier's Wood, so if anyone knows, it was actually a really nice area. It was a short walk to King's Gym, and that was the most expensive rent I paid in the UK. I split this with another girl that I was living with, and as a housemate, and I was paying £900 per month, but not including bills. So you can kind of see here that bills kind of obviously come up to, let's say, 350, so 900 plus 350. So we're looking at 1,200 type of thing with rent and bills. Business expenses exactly the same, coach, boom, 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 etc., etc. So just the cost of living is going to be a little bit higher in the London area, and you're mostly going to see that from the food, the eating out, the coffees, the transport, all this sort of stuff, right? Cars you probably don't use too much of, but just the general cost of the UK is quite expensive. It is quite expensive. So you're looking at, and it's mostly going to come from, I would say, this is picking up rent in like a one bed in zones 1 to 3. The further out of London you go, obviously the cheaper. And obviously this is very dependent, obviously, if you have housemates and stuff like that. But the cost of living in London is going to be a bit more. It's London. It's one of the fucking biggest, craziest financial capitals of the world, right? So we do have to be mindful of that. And London is just coming out as slightly more. This is, like I said, this is exactly the same lifestyle, but just flipped into London life as it is, and kind of how I live my life, run my business, etc. from that standpoint there. So yeah, naturally this is coming out a little bit higher, and obviously let's say 5.8 to like 6.7 grand. Going on to Gold Coast and Brisbane, I think this is the biggest thing that I've seen over the last, I've been coming to the Gold Coast now for 3 years, and we come like twice a year, and I think this is the biggest change I've seen. The cost of living in Australia is going up, so it is probably getting more and more expensive. More so over the last 3 years that I've experienced. It has got more expensive over those last 3 years. But it's just the little things that you notice that's expensive here. So, like, for example, eating out can be a bit more expensive. The groceries seem to be quite expensive. It's all those little things that start to add up, right? Obviously, petrol's being a big one. Everyone in Australia really drives. The public transport isn't the same, but more people are using that now. More people are kind of driving to a tram stop and getting the public transport side of things there. So it is that people are trying to save where they can, but it's just been, since me coming here, I've experienced a big increase in the cost of living in Australia. And again, it's all of this, guys, is really going to vary where you decide to live, right? It's fully dependent on kind of what type of area if you live in. If you say, hey, I'm like, if you're in London and live in Chelsea, you're like, well, that's gonna be fucking millions, right? It's all very dependent on where you live, all that sort of stuff. But this is just a simple breakdown of what it costs, and vice versa, what I would have to spend to have my business set up in all these different areas. So really simple breakdown there, guys. There you go, boom, super easy. ChatGPT helped me out. Dubai coming out at the cheapest overall. So like we said, Gold Coast and London being the most expensive. What I do want to add to this is what you have to consider with Dubai is sometimes the hidden costs of the things that you don't see. Dubai is a little bit, you could get screwed over. It's very easy. It's not very Western world politically correct when it comes to dealing with businesses and dealing with rentals and dealing with all this sort of stuff. There's a lot more stuff that can not go wrong, but you just have to be very switched on, be very open-minded. If it sounds good to be true, it probably is, right? So we just have to be very wary of sometimes these hidden costs, people trying to get a little bit more out of you than they should. This actually happened to us when we got this new place, is that you go through an agent who shows you the house. It's not really hard, right? And they just fucking open the door for you, show you around, and they take a percentage, right? So I believe it's 5%. Oh, I'm going to butcher this. Please don't get me wrong. People are going to hate me in the comment section. It's 5% if it's unfurnished, the total of the year, and it's 10% if it's furnished, right? So if you pay 100,000 dirhams for the year, that would be, they'll take, if it's furnished, they'll take 10% of that. If it's unfurnished, they'll take 5% of that, right? And by law, that's the maximum they can take. We had it when we went to the office to sign the paperwork. Ours was unfurnished, and they added on a little bit extra. They added on a little bit extra from themselves when legally they can't do that, but so we can pay the lowest. So we were able to pull it down by like a couple of £100 because he just decided to give himself a little bit of a bonus, right? So that's just the things you have to be mindful of. It's sometimes the hidden T's and C's that you don't see, and when you go to sign paperwork, right? So things like that you have to be mindful of. The other big kind of cost saver, right, is obviously the taxes is going to be the biggest thing, right? So the taxes aspect of things. So obviously we don't pay any taxes. We pay our accountants, and I think that's the thing that I'm missing out of here. So our accountants are, give or take, they're £300 every quarter. So add on to this, so it'd be 3,600 to give or take 4,000 whatever, because I have to pay for our accountants, right? So that's literally it, but they're only £100 a month type of thing. That's the easiest way to explain it. So add on an extra £100 per month of expenses. But that's the thing you have to be mindful of in Dubai, is that obviously we don't pay taxes, so there's a lot of money that can be saved from that side of things, of course, right? But then you obviously have to register your business there. Business registration is every year, so every year we register our business, and that is, I'm just doing the conversion on my phone, that is 11,000 dirhams, give or take. I'm just roughly giving you that number. So 11,000 dirhams to pounds is, give or take, £2,200. So every year you have to pay £2,200 to register your business. Every 2 years you have to do your visa. So your visa is, what did I just pay for mine? I should have just got this document up, shouldn't I? Every year you pay, I'm just going to put, I think it was 5,000. Because you can get them for that. So lots of companies will upsell massively, because the first couple of years my business was 21,000 dirhams. Now it's 11, right? So that's the thing, like that's the thing with Dubai. It can be very expensive, but also like the longer you're there and you kind of work out all these nooks and crannies, and you get screwed over a couple of times, right? It can become very cheap, or a lot cheaper, hence the position that I'm in and that we are now, right? There is the option of, there's many different visa options, right, for Dubai, many different visa options. If anyone considers on going there, and obviously you're self-employed, you run an online business, just set your business up there. It's the easiest thing to do, it's the best thing to do, so that's the best visa option to go down. You set your business up and you get your visa through that. Super easy. There is a lot more other visa options, don't ask me. The only other one I know of is the golden visa, because Steph wants to go through that process as well. But yeah, that is pretty much everything, guys. That is pretty much the breakdown of the cost of Dubai versus the Gold Coast versus London. And I should quote into this, obviously, this isn't all of the UK, right? Like, London is an expensive area, but this is pretty similar to the southeast of England, which is where I grew up. I grew up in Oxfordshire, so this is the southeast of England. The southeast of England is more expensive. If you go up north to like Nottingham and then Manchester area, the prices of everything will come down slightly. Again, I think Australia is quite stable all over. The Gold Coast, Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, all quite expensive areas. I would say Melbourne and Sydney might be just slightly more, but I think that's actually changed in recent times, and maybe in the last kind of 6 months to a year even. Perth, I think, is a little bit cheaper. So I think Perth on Western Australia is, again, slightly cheaper than this. So yeah, just things to consider, and just giving you a little bit of a different video and a different breakdown, things like that. So let me know if you like this one, guys. That's kind of a rough breakdown of everything. So yeah, I'm gonna love you and leave you. This video might bomb, but I don't care. It's just cool to do something different, and for me just to kind of tell you a little bit more about my life and how everything works behind the scenes. So I'm out.